This is wild. I got to tell you this, guys. This is wild. So you remember Wednesday's live stream, and I'm doing a live stream, and I came in just a few minutes late, right? And I was like, I had to watch Judge bat, and he hit a home run, right? That happened Wednesday. If you guys, anybody that was here, um, saw that. So Judge was just up. Normally I start my live stream at like 2 minutes to 8, but Judge was coming up. I'm like, I'm going to watch Judge bat. Sure enough, he just hit a home run again. So I'm like, yes. I'm going to have to keep that practice going. Oh, my God, that's too funny. Yeah. All right. Anyway, hello, everyone. You're probably like, what, lunatic? You got to understand, guys, my number one sport that I love more than anything else is baseball. Okay. I mean, I love baseball. Huge history buff, the history of baseball. And then, Aaron Judge is just a phenom, unbelievable player. And so, I just, and the thing is, what I like about Judge, he reminds me of Derek Jeter. He reminds me of Don Mattingly. Those guys carried themselves with, decency. You never hear any, anything bad about them, any of that type of stuff. There's no, nothing. They're just class guys. And so that's why, I think the guy's just a squared away guy. And the best part is, what I think is even more amazing, especially in this amazing country that we live in, Aaron Judge was adopted, okay? Aaron Judge was adopted. But, it's amazing to me that, this young man was adopted, raised by, the couple, and they taught him everything the right way, which was amazing. So anyway, before we jump into anything, have I been to Cooperstown? I have, Carlos. Yep. So before we jump into anything, I want to remind everybody this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here. As JJ already has, the trolls will come out. They'll play their little games, and that's okay. But please, I would just ask you, do not engage them. Because they want attention. Like, ooh, look at me, pay attention to me. That's why I have my moderators who are awesome, and they get rid of the garbage. And that'll be the end of that. So, perfect. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to pop this real quick. So I hope you guys are all having a good day. Another guy, was on a rival team, but you respect him as a baseball player, was Big Papi with Boston. All right. That's another guy. He had some issues outside of baseball after he retired. But, things happen. But he was always a decent guy. And he was always a class act, too, during his playing years. So, and I think he got, stabbed or something. So I don't know what happened with that after he retired. But, so that was a very, not a good thing there. All right. So anyway, oh, no way. Hold on. Yes. Giancarlo just homered again as well. He hit one in the first inning. He just hit another one. 2-run shot in the first inning, a 2-run shot here. I'm got the game over here on the side. Guys, I have to. It's the end of the season. They're tied right now with Toronto for first place. If the Yankees win 2 out of 3 and Toronto loses 2 out of 3, they win the division. So in the pitcher they were going up against today, which is still pitching right now, really good pitcher for Baltimore, but the Yankees are getting to him today. So that's awesome. I am happy to see it. All right. So I get it. Vicky says I'm a baseball fan too. It's just, I love it. I just absolutely love it. I played Little League. I actually coached Little League. I told you guys that with Josh when he was little. But yes, the Yankees are my favorite team. I've been a diehard Yankee fan since I was a very little boy. So, yeah, uh, early '70s. I've been a Yankee fan. So, yeah, Packers and the Cowboys Sunday. See, the thing is, I don't have a lot of hope for the Cowboys this year. And right now, baseball is still going on. I'll worry about football after baseball season's over. So really, at this point, it's too early in the season to worry about. So, but yeah, the Mets collapsed this year, Carlos. Holy crap! What happened to the Mets? They were doing great. And that's the thing is, if you were a fan of baseball, this year has been wild. You've had Houston collapsed, where Seattle took the division. You've had Detroit, which had a huge lead. They've collapsed, and now they're tied with Cleveland for the division, and so that division's up in the air. The Yankees have come back, and now they're tied with Toronto. So I mean, it's been really, and that's after everybody had dismissed the Yankees and the Yankees are done, and all that type of stuff. So, but anyway, like I said, it's a lot of fun, and then everything going over in the National League as well. So, but I'm an American League guy. What can I say? But one of the best players in baseball. I mean, Judge is right there. He's right there. And Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers is the other one. The guy's phenomenal as well. So, really cool. I mean, so a lot of fun. Like I said, I enjoy it. So, I'm excited. So, the Twins can't win a game to save their souls. Well, they're not as bad as Colorado. Ma'am, why are we doing this again? Do you just want to be on camera? Do you just want to be on camera? Guys, I'll tell you, I mean, she must be getting ready to go into heat, I think, because she's been like ridiculously needy. But when did she go into heat last? She probably shouldn't be ready to go back into heat yet, but she's been like ridiculously needy. I mean, just like crazy needy. But anyway, you be a good girl. No, stay down. Go lay down. No, down. There's nobody in here to be jealous of. Oh, you guys? She's jealous of you? Maybe. I don't know, maybe. Because she hears me talking and she's like, who are you talking to, Dad? But she should know by now. I mean, she's been with me for years. So, but she does love her attention. Yeah, she's not a bad dog. Like I said, best dog I've ever had. Anyway, so we're getting completely off the rails and haven't talked about topic or anything at all yet. So we should probably get into that, right? Talking baseball. One of the things I did today, I'm like I said, I'm trying to work with the puppies more. And it's hard because you can't work with them all at the same time. So you got to like pull one out and do that. But what I did today with them, like in the dog run itself, I put a chair in there, put a chair in there and sat in the chair and just like was working with the dogs a little bit. And they were all of them, then. And I had Hella in the camper, so she wasn't in there, at the same time with the pups. So, but yeah, that was fun. That was interesting. Interesting is a better word. But all right. So winter is, we're in fall right now. There's a lot of, I don't know if you guys pay attention to anything like Edgar Casey, Nostradamus to a degree, but Edgar Casey's been a lot more accurate. And Edgar Casey was talking, and of course, with him, he was a very humble man. And what he did is he would go into like a sleep trance, and he wouldn't remember what he said, but he would talk about things. Like he talked about the collapse, of Wall Street back in the 1920s when Wall Street was doing great. He was talking about, in these visions that he got, and he said that they were from God and stuff like that. And then he talked about World War II talking about the rise of Germany and all that. So a lot of those things that he predicted, and he has a lot. They have a huge library of stuff that he predicted. But he's talking about 2026 being, you know, if you've been paying attention, guys, just to the weather, earthquakes, these tsunamis and all these different type of things. A lot of these volcanoes going off. A lot of volcanoes that haven't gone off in forever are becoming more active again. There is obviously evidence in the past where the elevation of where the oceans have risen in the past. When you have a majority of the people living, I don't know the exact number, but I think they said that 80% of the people live within a certain distance from the coast in the entire country. Because you look at the East Coast and the West Coast, and I mean, you look at any of the cities on the East Coast. You got Boston, New York City, Baltimore. You have was it Columbia? Is it Columbia near the ocean? I don't remember. But there's all along the coast. You have Jacksonville and all those things down through Florida. Everything's on the coast, and there's a lot of people on the coast as well. And if there is a major event that happens, like a tsunami, which has happened in the past, okay, there's evidence and proof that it's happened in the past on the West Coast. They've done research and showed that, there was a massive earthquake in Japan, and it sent a tsunami that was like, I think they said it was like 1,000 foot high. And I want you to think about that. They had that tsunami that happened in Indonesia. And if you watched any of the videos of that where the water had drawn out and everybody was like all puzzled and stuff, and then it came back in, and it, a couple 100,000 people lost their lives because of that, because they didn't know, they did not know. And so those type of things, can happen, and it can happen really, really quickly. Now they do have the tsunami warnings and stuff like that now, but if there's 1,000 foot wall of water coming, there's not really a whole lot you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to get away fast enough. And how far inland is that going to go? That's going to go miles inland. And think about, what damage that would do. It's it's so bizarre to, there's all kinds of predictions of this, that, and the other thing. And, I'm 312 miles inland. I think you're safe, Sonia. I think you're safe. But, I got mountains in between me and the ocean. So I think that we're in pretty good shape here. And I live up high elevation. So that makes a difference too. And that, and it's so weird. One of the things from what I've seen myself in my dreams, I always knew I needed to be at high elevation. Always knew that. I got to be at high elevation. So the property in New York was at about 1,600 feet above sea level. And, now I'm like 2,800 feet above sea level. So, is everything going to be perfect and rosy? I doubt it. Okay. But they have tsunami buoys to detect water activity. No, I know that they do that, JJ. But what I'm saying is if there was something major coming, they would not have enough time to get everybody out. If there's 1,000 foot wall of water coming, you're not going to get everybody out. It's just not going to happen, And think about the ships that would be out at sea. Normally, a lot of times the ships, if they know that there's a tsunami, they'll go towards the tsunami instead of trying to run away from it. So it's a lot to do with that. But anyway, you look at all those type of things that are going on. You look at the fact that, guaranteed, the government will tell you this as well. There are sleeper cells in this country. They already know that there's sleeper cells in this country. So what's the trigger? When are they going to go and do what they're going to do? And I've talked about this, guys. And like I said, my biggest concern has always been a grid down situation. That's my biggest concern because That's our, as a country, the United States of America, our Achilles heel. That's our Achilles heel. Think about what the gridlock, what would happen if everybody hit the highways at the same time. Exactly, JJ. You look what happens when there's a minor accident somewhere and how long you're delayed if you've ever been stuck in traffic because of an accident, and but think about everybody trying to leave at the same time. It'd be a nightmare. And as soon as an accident happened, gridlock, and yeah, so that's, and again, where are they going? I want you to think about that. Where are they going? If they make it out, where are they going? Do they have a plan? Do they have another place that they can go to? I mean, those things are all factors. They're all factors. But, so what do we got? 204 in the chat right now. We got 66 thumbs up, guys. That's less than half. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I do appreciate that. It really makes a big, big difference with the algorithm. So I thank you for that reason as well. Okay. And also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you for that as well. Mike D said, heard Yellowstone has some activity, so I heard. Well, there was certain parts of the park, Mike. I mean, well, Yellowstone has been active for a long time, but there were certain parts of the park that have been closed because of increased activity. That should be concerning. It doesn't mean that it's going to be, if Yellowstone went, okay, let's just say if Yellowstone went, it doesn't mean it would be a game changer eruption. It could be a smaller eruption. Even a small eruption would cause all kinds of problems. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But a major eruption, that would be something completely different. And I'm at 1686 feet on top of a mountain. I'm pretty safe here. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. And like I said, when I look out, if I'm looking towards Virginia or if I'm looking, east, I'm surrounded by mountains. I am surrounded by mountains. So that's a good buffer as far as, like a tsunami type of situation would go, or a nuclear type of situation. That would also be a really good thing. So, but anyway, if there's going to be any kind of an attack, I honestly believe it would be in the wintertime. And I've talked about this before, and I want to talk about it again here, because winter is going to be number one where we as a country are going to be at our most vulnerable. Now, people that have wood stoves, people that have a wood supply for their wood stove, people that have food back, people that have, water back and ways to purify water. Oh, I wanted to address a question. So somebody had asked me, because I talked about, when I was talking about water, that I use my Berkey to filter water. And somebody had said, do you have a backup? I have many backups for water filtration. I also have a Catadine water filter that will do 10,000 gallons of water and an extra filter for that one. So there's one. I have the tablets. You can use bleach. Bleach can be utilized also to purify water. To set up a filtration system is really, really easy. You would take a layer of charcoal, a layer of sand, and then a layer of stone, and you just keep doing that. Like you would take a garbage can, a plastic garbage can, and layer after layer. You pour the water in the top, holes in the bottom, pour the water in the top, and as it comes through there, it's going to get a lot of the crap out of that. And then what you would do after that, you would definitely boil that water. I would have like a t-shirt on the top, right? Or something, a cloth of some sort. I do have insulation for the tanks for the winter this year. We're going to be getting those, JJ. We're going to definitely be getting those. Before we get into really cold weather, we're going to get the foam board, like the 2-inch thick foam board insulation, not only for the tanks, but also for the beehives. And so we're going to definitely look at making sure that the tanks don't freeze, if we end up having a cold snap, because that's not fun. That's not fun. So, but anyway, so there's many different ways. I have a whole. Anthony said, "Thank you for answering my question about filtration." Oh, you're welcome, Anthony. I honestly believe you need to have multiples upon multiple ways of getting water filtered. So, is it charcoal a special type of charcoal, or can you use campfire? You can use campfire charcoal. I would not use like scented. I just would use regular charcoal. Not nothing like the Easy Start charcoal that they have. But like I said, again, you could just have a fire, take the charcoal from that, bang it down, and there put your layer of charcoal, and do that several times. So, but yeah, and the generals are meeting. That's another thing that's concerning. Um, he's calling all of these like 800 high-ranking generals from the Navy, the Army, the Marines, the Air Force, and they're having some kind of a meeting, and like everybody's mute on what is going on with that meeting. People are not. Normally, you're going to have somebody that's going to say, "Hey, it's about this or it's about that." We don't know what that is about, and even when they tell us what we want to hear or tell us what they're going to tell us, we may not be getting all the whole truth in that as well. So that is something. Yeah, brigadier generals and above. Yep. So high-ranking individuals, but and that's kind of. I want you to think about that. All right, so they're meeting down at Quantico in Virginia, right? Now you just announced to the enemy where all your high-ranking staff is going to be. If you were going to do a quick first strike, where would you hit? All your high-ranking generals are there in one spot from every branch of the service. That I don't think that that's something that you should be announcing. That's just my take. You know what I mean? So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that you would announce, here's where we're going to be, and we're going to have all our top military brass there, all the ones that are making the calls. That doesn't, I don't know. Maybe it's a setup and they go to a different spot, possibly, but it doesn't make sense to me that you would announce where they're going to go, and that's what they've done. So, but again, that's just me thinking analytically, like that doesn't make sense. But beer and pizza party, there you go. Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. But anyway, getting back, decoys and distraction could be Okie Forge, could be. Yeah, it's just there's I don't know, something's not adding up. I'll just say that something is definitely not adding up. But definitely concerning. Definitely should be concerning with that situation. So, but anyway, going back to what we were talking about here before, wintertime, grid down situation, that's when we're going to be at our most vulnerable. Not a lot of people are prepared. Obviously, when they give you the numbers and they say 93% of the people in this country are not ready for a 2-week disaster, let alone anything longer, okay? Middle of winter, if they can knock the grid out for an extended period of time, right? Snow plows won't be plowing snow. Nobody's going to be getting out when the next blizzard hits, and they're not going to be getting out until the spring. How many people you think wouldn't make it? Think about that, folks, especially in the northern Minnesota, New York, Maine, Connecticut, Vermont, South Dakota, North Dakota, up in California, Colorado, all those areas. Hate spam calls, but they would be going nowhere until the snow melted, and there would be a whole lot less of them when that time came because of everything. I'm just going to get an update on this game. Still 6'3". Okay. But again, those are things that you have to pay attention to, and then think about this, right? Grid goes down. There's no early warning system for hurricanes, tornadoes, anything like that. You know what I mean? Um, there's no early warning for any of that. So, it's something that should be really concerning to people. And again, so when I talk about getting ready, being prepared, it's not just food and water. Food and water is going to be important, but you got to be able to stay warm. And if you don't have a way to keep your house warm with a heat source, you're going to be in big, big trouble. If you have a propane heater, that'll work, but for how long? Until the propane runs out. So, one of the things I know I talked a little bit about this before. I'm going to talk about it right now again. All right. So you're in your house, you got your house, power goes out, and it's wintertime. The very best way to deal with that, and if you don't have an alternative heat source, okay, you pick a room, you block off the windows with blankets, whatever the case may be. You put, if you have a tent, if you have a pop-up tent, anything like that, you put that tent up in the middle of that room. And when you go to sleep and stuff like that, you go in that tent, zip it up. And if anybody's ever done any camping, your body heat and stuff like that inside of a tent, it's going to keep that warmer. It's another way of insulating against that type of a situation. Having plenty of blankets, having plenty of warm clothes. Wool blankets are probably the best thing that you could possibly have. Having wool socks, plenty of long johns, all those things. Again, you never know. You can die of hypothermia in the summertime if you're outside, and especially if you're trying to sleep on the ground. The ground will suck the heat out of you because we're 98 degrees. The ground is not going to be. And did you see the price of ammo just crash and it's back to the 2017 prices? I had not seen that, JJ. No, I hadn't seen that. Well, that's good. That's good. Stock up. That'd be another thing I would say. Stock up. Yeah, moving blankets are another one. Yep, that's a good one as well. But what you're trying to do is if you're all in one room instead of everybody spread out over the whole house, you're going to be able to stay a lot warmer. And that's the key to survival in that type of situation. Because that house or apartment or whatever it's going to be, it's going to cool off rather quickly. So if you can put yourself in one room and do that, then you're gonna have a better chance. Now the other thing, the elephant in the room when you're doing that, what about waste? What are you going to do? You can't go use the toilet and you can't flush the toilet except for maybe one time. How do you get rid of waste? 5-gallon bucket, contractor garbage bags. You can take the toilet seat off the toilet and put it on top of the 5-gallon bucket with, the bag in there. Use that. And if you have to, you open up the window and you throw it out the window. But that is an option that is there for you, or you dump the bag and bring the bag back in. I mean, you do whatever you have to do at that point. But I always go to the corner when I'm cold. Corners are always 90 degrees. Oh my God, JJ, that's too funny. Yeah, that's great. But ghillie suit you're talking about, Tony? I think you mean a ghillie suit. Yeah, ghillie suit's going to keep you warmer. Yeah, pool noodle around the top of the bucket, that would work too. But yeah, I knew what you meant. You spelled it wrong, but I knew what you meant. And don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing you for spelling it wrong. No, I'm not the one with that. Well, the problem with the propane heater, okay, and you got to make sure you have ventilation because you could die of carbon monoxide poisoning because of a propane heater. So again, if you have a propane heater, turn it on for a little while, take the edge off the room, turn it back off. That would be the way to do that. That would be my advice as far as something like that goes. But again, how bad is the winter going to be? If they attack us in the winter, folks, it can be really, really bad, because again, people are not ready. And if they realize that you're ready, okay, and they're not, they're going to want it. They're going to want what you have, because that's not fair. That's not right. You're being selfish. All those things. There's going to be everything that they can possibly say. But, those are things, again, you want to keep a low profile. That's what I think is the most important thing. It's okay. I spell things how they sound. Yeah, I just suck at spelling, so I already know that, and I do the best I can. And if I spell something wrong, I spell it wrong, and I go, oh well. So what do we got? 229 in the chat, guys. We got 104 thumbs up. So again, please hit that thumbs up button if you have not yet, to show support for the channel. And again, I do appreciate that. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon, to get all notifications as well. So, hey, JJ, we got another. It must be Child Day here at Preparedness 1's channel. Is school out? Oh, it's Friday night. Mommy's probably out at the bars, and you're home all by yourself in your basement. I get it. I understand. And you have nothing better to do. I hope your mom meets somebody nice. That's all I can say. Well, it's true, Helen. We want his mom to meet somebody nice. But who will make the sandwiches then? I don't know. Anyway. See, now I called her. So now this one's my fault. But anyway, we had, like last winter here, they said it was the worst winter they've had down here in like 10 years. I'd go to your phone's app store and see if you can have RoboKiller. It gives me peace of mind with spam callers. Oh, thank you very much, Ray. I will definitely do that. I'm so sick of them. I get 4 to 5 calls a day. It's absolutely ridiculous. Thank you very much also for the donation. I really do appreciate it. Are you a pretty girl? Yes, you are. 95-pound baby. And it's amazing to me when I look at Zeus and Genghis, and they're bigger than her. Not filled out yet. Okay, you got to go down, baby. Go. They're not filled out like she is yet, but they're already taller than her. And what are they going to be? 10 months here in a couple days? They're not even a year old. So, yeah, fend for you and your own. Well, that's what you got to do. You got to watch out for you and your own. That is for sure. And you got to be ready. And you got to also be ready for the people that are going to come, that are going to want to take. It's going to happen. People are going to be, like I said, you want to see the worst in people? Take away all those creature comforts. You'll watch civility go right out the window. I think it's important to try to help if you can, but you have to be really careful when it comes to helping, because if you help somebody once, they're going to come back. They may bring friends, and they're going to want more help. Or, if you bring somebody in, to your group or whatever and stuff like that, it's just, you got to be real careful who you're bringing in. Who do you trust? See, there's the hardest thing right there. Who do you trust? So, you have to think about those things. Again, with winter coming, if you have a wood stove, get your wood in. I think I may have mentioned this already. I may not have. I've been getting on Heather about getting wood in. And she ended up ordering 6 face cord of wood, which has been delivered. Now she just got to get it stacked, which she worked on it a little bit already. But she says, I'm going to get it all squared away, Dad. And I said, okay, once you get that 6 face cord stacked, take a picture, send it to me, and let me see how full the woodshed is then. I said, if you get that woodshed full, completely full, you have 2 years worth of wood. That's peace of mind. That's peace of mind. So, and I want her to be squared away, and I want her to be ready, from that perspective as well. So, hopefully that will happen. And but she's going in the right direction. Another thing I would highly recommend, like I said, get your wood in, get it stocked up. If you have extra gas cans, make sure your gas cans are topped off and you're rotating them. Okay, you're rotating them. Uh, Make sure your propane tanks are filled. You know. Add off subject, I was looking into a type of material to help with the cover of the chicken coop. It's called GeoGrid Hope. I hope that helps. I'll look into it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. I'm really kind of at a standstill with that because I'm like, I still probably am going to have to go with chicken wire on that. But if I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to have to throw a couple more, or at least one more post in, which I know that it's going to be at least one more post. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, fun. but anyway, going back to getting the different things stocked up is going to be really, really important. Be as ready as you can be. The other thing that I always would say. Again, what I would suggest is if your tank in your car gets down to half empty, fill it up at half empty. Don't wait till it's down to a quarter or almost empty. When it's at half empty, hey, Billy Norwood, thank you for becoming a beginning prepper. Appreciate that support. Again, it's like that's what you want to, oh my God, my brain just shut off on me a second. What was I just saying? What was I just saying? What was I just saying, guys? Somebody remind me. Oh yeah, filling up the make sure your gas tank is you get to half full, fill it. Because again, worst case scenario, if it's so cold out, you could always go in. Oh, the wire in the chicken run too. Yeah. But you can always go out and sit in your car and warm up that way if you had to, for like an hour. You can always do that. That's always an option. But remember, be careful where you are and people around you. People will be stealing gas and everything else. But, that's something to think about as well. But yeah, for the chicken wire, for the chicken run, I got to get back on that. I want to get that finished. But I'm like kind of been like at a blank. So, yeah, for the bleach, you want to have regular bleach. You do not want scented bleach if you're trying to purify water. So, what I normally do, just also with the big tanks, I'll take like a capful for the 275-gallon tanks. Once it's filled with water, I'll take a capful of bleach and put a cap. That's all you need. It's like a capful, and that would and that helps. Also keep the algae down and all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's just, but again, like I said, making sure you're stocked up on stuff, making sure your generators are working, doing that monthly test, firing them up, make sure they're good to go. That's important, So there's definitely things that you can do to help yourselves from that perspective. But it's just it's a process. It is a process. Yep, practice with your solar generators and gas. Absolutely. Yeah, see how they work. See, like I said, as a backup, if there's a power outage, it's not a long. I mean, we're still going to get power outages no matter what. That will happen, guaranteed. Just how long will they last? And again, paying attention to what's going on around you is going to be a big difference as well. So, how close are we to World War III? That's. I hope never, Billy Norwood. I hope never. But when you put people in positions of power, and they want to do something, they're going to do it. So I don't know. That's a tough call. I would hope that we don't. World War III, nobody wins. Nobody wins. I think we got to worry more for like natural disasters than we would for World War III. Earthquakes, volcanoes, those type of things. There's been a huge uptick. The pole is shifting. We've talked about that. That has been proven that is happening. So we can actually say that on here without fear of being, retribution by the Google gods. But because of that shift, it's messing everything up. And, there's going to be a lot more activity, and, more of these volcanoes are going to go. You're looking at a lot of earthquakes that are happening. I think Russia just had another like 7.8 earthquake. I mean, really, really strong earthquakes. And, again, being ready for those type of things, it's going to be really important that we're as ready as we can be, because you just don't know. Yeah, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Russia's not the enemy. I've said it before, guys. And I'm not like rah, rah, rah Putin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Russia is not the enemy. China is the one we got to worry about, because they're the ones that want to run everything. Think about it. Look at how they've built up their Navy, just their Navy, over the last 10 years, and how we're not keeping up. And, yeah, we got some great technology and all that stuff, and that's all well and good. But we better be paying attention. Because when they decide they're strong enough, they're going to do something, Is using bleach if you're a diabetic be a concern? No. All you're doing is diluting a little bit, Brenda, so that you're killing the pathogens in the water. That's what you're trying to do. Well, yeah, I think they're really trying to get back to get like the chip plants back here in the United States. I think that's one of the things I know that they've been working on. But yeah, I mean, when you're looking at these transformers and all that type of stuff for the power grid, none of that's made here. None of that's made in the United States. There's like a 1.5 year wait list right now. And I want you to think about this, okay? Great big transformers. There's a 1.5 year wait list if you want one. We don't have a bunch of them backed up sitting around. We don't, because they're that expensive. And if they go down, folks, we're not going to have power for a long, long time. And a diabetic's concern is having insulin. The reality is, Okie Forge, and I don't sugarcoat stuff. I say it like it is. Your insulin-dependent diabetics, like my mother, all right? My mother is an insulin-dependent diabetic. They're not going to be around long. Your people on dialysis, right? They're not going to be around long. So, anybody that is on a ventilator or relies on power, they're not going to be around long either. I mean, it's just people, if you're like cancer treatment, you're in the middle of cancer treatment, you're doing your monthly or weekly or whatever it is that you're doing, grid goes down, folks, all that stops. So, anybody on blood pressure medication, anything like that, they're going to be in trouble really, really quickly. And so, doing the best that we can and try to be as healthy as we can, it is also important to do that. And, take care of ourselves and watch out for the people around us. And, that's kind of like my thing. It's like, trying to stay friendly with the neighbors. That's another huge part, especially out where I'm at. If we can have our neighbors working together, it's going to be an important thing. Oh, Billy, thank you for sending a gift membership to somebody. I appreciate that. So, but my daughter is insulin dependent. We've already had that conversation. I mean, that's unfortunately, Okie Forge, it's just reality. You know, sometimes diabetic stuff can be regulated through diet and losing weight, and stuff like that. That can happen that way. But the reality is, if somebody is dependent on insulin to survive, it's just not a good situation. I mean, and that's just being honest. So, if you're on medications, if you're on life-saving medication, or you need whatever medication, I think that it's important to do what you need to do with that as well. All right, we got 241 in the chat. We got 147 thumbs up. So we have like 15 minutes to go. So I want to see us hit 200. So that's going to be the goal. Okay, we got 53 more thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, it really makes a huge difference with the algorithms. We're going to do egg count in a minute, guys. Relax. Makes a big difference with the algorithms. So the more interaction, the better. And I do appreciate that. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications, and I do appreciate that as well. So the goal is 200 thumbs up. We're at 156 right now. Okay. How many eggs today? 14 hens. So the total number of eggs. Did Betty White lay? Yes or no? And of the Easter eggers, how many of the Easter eggers laid? So I have 3 Easter eggers. So it's total number of eggs. Yes or no for Miss Betty White? And what to count for the Easter eggers. So there's your mission. So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in, and we will go from there. All right, we finally have a right answer. I was waiting and waiting. I'm like, somebody's going to get this right answer. Kathy has the right answer. If you have the same guess as Kathy, with 12 eggs today. Yes for Miss Betty White, and all 3 of the Easter eggers laid. Somebody had 12 or had 12 yes and 2, so they were close. But congratulations, Kathy. You have won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we go. There we go. So, but yeah, they were. So yesterday they didn't do so well, and today they did well. So you just, like I said, you just never know. You never. I think we only had 7 eggs yesterday. So, but yep, Kathy gets the win. Wahoo! Thanks. I know. I kept watching. I'm going, is somebody going to get it, or are they not going to get it? Yeah, I wasn't sure today because, again, that's the new high that I've gotten with these chickens as far as eggs go. That's a new high. So pretty happy about that. I was like, all right, chickens, let's go. I just put fresh straw in there for them today as well. You know why I donated to you today? Because I love you and Karma. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate it. I think it's important to share information. I think it's important to try to be as honest as we can be. I think it's important not to give people false hope. Don't you agree that the women overdosing on Tylenol are mentally disturbed? Well, if somebody's overdosing on anything, Tony, they have a problem. Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, in our society today, it's just a lot of people are checking out. A lot of people are checking out because they don't want to deal with it. The reality is things are not always going to be wonderful. That's the reality. So, but we do the best that we can. So I was happy we added hens this year. So the hens are doing good as far as that part of it goes. But Yeah, I'm hoping that next year that a couple of them get broody, and if they don't, look at actually adding more chickens next year. So that's all we can do. So we're at 171 on the thumbs up, guys. We need 29 more to hit 200. So let's keep them coming if you would, and I do appreciate that. We do need. Wishika's just said we need a lot more mental health care. I'm close to Seattle, and there are tons of potential patients here. Yeah, there's a lot of people that definitely need help, mental help. And she's right here, Billy. She's laying down on the ground now. Um, and they closed so many of the mental hospitals, and where do you think those people went? They went back out on the streets. So that should be concerning to people. That should be really concerning. So we're at 179. We need 21 more thumbs up, guys. 21 more thumbs up to hit 200. Now we're at 81. So 19 away. But like I said, again, this winter could be a very concerning time as far as that goes. We have to really be on guard, be ready as much as you possibly can be, and and do that. So if we do that, we should be all right long term. And they went to the streets in prison. Yep, that happened to a lot of them too. Absolutely. But unfortunately, and they're not. And I tell you this: in the prisons, they're not getting the help. They're not getting the mental help that they need. So, listen, Ed, I think the winter's going to be brutal for your area. I think that's what they said. Well, if it is, we'll hunker down and we'll ride it out. I mean, that's all we can do. The Farmer's Almanac. Yeah, I saw that they were saying that it's going to be wetter. It's actually going to be a little bit warmer, they said, but it's going to be a wetter winter, which means if there's a storm that does come in and it's cold enough, then we're going to be having to deal with that. But we got 188, guys. 12 more thumbs up, please. 12 more. Let's hit that 200 goal. But again, if you're ready, the best way that you can be, and something happens, your families are going to thank you. They may not thank you right now. They may think you're crazy and all that type of stuff. But when something happens, they're going to be very, very happy that you prepared and were ready. Like one of the things that I've with my daughter Heather. Again, another thing. I'm like, gas. Fill up your gas cans. Get them topped off. Be ready, because winter is coming. We don't get a lot of sun in the winter. And you're going to use your generator more to charge up those batteries. I mean, that's just what happens. And so, the more that you can be ready that way, the better off you're going to be. And if you have a stockpile of gas, and then when you empty one, you refill it. Simple, simple. So, but the prisons get them stable, and when they release them, the prison does not continue to help them. It becomes a revolving door situation. You're right about that. It's very unfortunate. There's not enough help. I think a lot of what happens, people get institutionalized, and they get on the outside, and they can't deal with it. And it's safer. It's more regulated in prison. And so they end up recommitting crimes, or they get back on drugs, or whatever the thing is. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Billy. Yeah, Eddie likes to play his guitar. That's for sure. That is for sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going up for Thanksgiving or not. I really haven't decided yet this year. If I don't go up this year, I'll probably go up sometime in the spring when the weather's nicer. But we have hired 2 people from the local prison. They both went back on drugs. Sad. We tried. And that's all you can do. You can lead a horse to water, Wishika, but you can't make him drink. That's an old saying, but it's so true. You can try to give somebody a break. You can, give them encouragement, but until they want to stop, they're not going to stop. And just because they were in jail doesn't make them stop. So, it's a very unfortunate thing. It does happen. I've I've had several conversations, with ex-cons, and a lot of them ended up right back in jail. Very, very unfortunate. But you can't help somebody that won't help themselves, and that's a fact too. So, but that is a fact. So we got 196 guys. We need 4 more thumbs up. I'll stop asking. If you guys hit them and get us over 200, I'll stop asking. I promise. Oh, there's always drugs in prison too. Yeah, they're going to get them in there. They're going to get them in there. But hey, Malachi's Corner popping in late. So anyway, there we are. We hit 200. See how easy that was? Oh, Rush Tribute Band. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, folks, we all make choices as far as life goes. You have to take responsibility for your choices. I've always had an issue with I don't shut my mouth. I say it like it is. And a lot of bosses don't like that. They don't like it when you're not afraid of them. They want you to be afraid. Well, I'm not afraid. Never have been. It's a job is a job. When one job ends, another one will come. That's just always the way I've been. I don't care. I'll do my job when I'm there, and I'll respect your position. But again, we all have a point where there's only so much SH that we're going to eat. And I think anybody's like that. And you, as an individual, have to decide what's enough. And if you don't like it, then you don't do it. You know what I mean? So, and that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. It's all about choices, So, yeah, life is. It's a game, guys. I've talked about this 1,000,001 times. Life is just a big old game, and we all have choices of what we can do or how we want to live it. And you go from there. Oh, very cool. Okay. I was looking to see they had the bases loaded and they got out of the inning. So that's good. Anyway, sad that I had to escape my family's business. Well, sometimes that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Okie Ford says, I like having a clear mind. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, I experimented around with a lot of different stuff. I didn't like hallucinogenics. You are not in control when you are on hallucinogenics. Not my thing, not my flavor, So tried it a couple different times with different things and was like, nope, not again. I told people, I've always said there's 2 things that I never tried. I never tried heroin and I never tried crack cocaine. I saw what heroin was doing to people. So I'm like, no way. And I wasn't shooting up. So I was like, nope. But and as far as crack goes, you saw what that was doing to people too. So, but, I'll have a couple beers here and there and that's cool. And I don't mind that. But, as far as the other stuff anymore, I don't know. I got better things to do. I might smoke pot twice a year, maybe, if got to be in a mood. And if I don't feel like doing it, I'm not doing it. And there's no peer pressure. I never gave into peer pressure. I do what I want. Always have. So anyway, guys, I am going to jump off of here for now. I do appreciate the support. I appreciate you being here. I will be live streaming on Sunday at 8 o'clock. So if you were going to join us then for the next live stream, we will do it then. Don't know what the topic's going to be yet. But get your stuff squared away for winter. Be as ready as you possibly can be because we never know, okay? We never know. So we have to be ready. We have to be ready. So the more ready we are, the better off we're going to be. That's the way I look at it. So Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you with STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. If you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, they will happen. You will get them done. So be safe, everybody. Have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.